A study by Ocean estimates the size of the global animation and visual effects market is set to reach $401 billion by 2030. How can African creators tap into this booming market? Joseph Duke, CEO of Elect Network Studios, joins me to discuss this. Joseph, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to have you on the show today.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Now, Africa's or Nigeria's animation industry is set to be booming, but I'd like you to help us get a sense of what the industry looks like right now. What are those trends, those events that have happened in the last couple of years that have shaped it to what it is today?
Well, in the last couple of years, a lot of people have been more interested in narrative films, and the animation industry had not really had so much attention in our space. But recently, we have a lot of animators and youths that are engaging so much in animation, and the future is very hopeful. I can tell you that for sure, although we still have a long way to go.
Could you speak to the quality of the talent and creativity that you see and how they perhaps compare to their counterparts outside of the country?
Well, yes, Nigerians are known to be very competitive globally, so you can see what our music industry have done in the past year. And the same way, we are very hopeful that the animation and the animators in this continent will also be able to compete with global standard when the time is right. Because right now we're still growing, and we hope to join the game in a large scale.
Okay. Talk to us about some of the challenges, barriers. I mean, do these creatives have access to the latest technology, financing, etc.?
Well, I must confess, financing has been a major issue, especially with the fact that most of the youths are either interested in other forms of entertainment and creative works because they've not seen anybody spearhead new things in that industry. So yes, there've not been some financing for the animation industry in our community, and we are really advocating for that so that more people can be involved. I mean, take for example, most of the youths that are on the street, some of them that are, not in school because of strike here and there, but yeah, they have the time, they can invest that time into animation and into the industry, but yet they need the resources. So we don't have a lot of facilities on ground, but we do have a couple of studios that are doing great. We have some studios that are working on different projects, but as you know, animation takes time. And of course, we need more resources in that field, and we need more manpower as well.
Let's briefly talk about your studio and the project. Talk to us about your biggest project right now.
Well, we just recently completed a short animation film. It's called Ami. It was inspired by the passion we have to educate and inform youth about political thuggery, to tell them that it is a wrong decision to, succumb to any pressure of joining any form of political violence. And knowing that election is coming up very soon, we want to discourage that. So we did an animation called Ami as regards this, and we are using this animation to create empowerment for youths in our community. At least we're looking at 50 to 100 youths that will partake in this empowerment program. We're looking to train 100 youths to be able to animate. And you can imagine, just myself and Tunde Oluwa, who is my producer and also my co-director and animator on this project. We both created this animation. It's a fantastic piece. It's a partnership between Black Eye Studio and Elect Network Studio. But yes, we are hoping to train 100 youths to be able to do the same thing we've done. And you can imagine the effect it will have in the nearest future. If 100 youths can do what we have done, just two of us, it will be remarkable.
Great stuff. Because that takes me to my next question, and I'm happy you talked about the specific project that you're working on, because I was going to ask you the type of stories, that our creatives tell, through the animations. What are some of the most popular? Because the ones I see are usually along the lines of comedy. But I mean, I know that may not be representative of the entire industry, but what can you tell us?
Well, yes, the industry usually encourage more comedies because that's where the money is. You can't run away from the money. Follow the money, they say. But yes, we have identified that the money actually that we are not seeing in animation is because we are not actually participating in that field. Yes, people are doing more narrative, more comedy, more romance, because that is what the market is demanding for. The audience is sort of controlling the content that is being produced. But with what we have done, we are able to prove, and we hope to prove, that animation has the future. And we want youth. There are a lot of youth that are passionate about animation. Yes, but it is time consuming and is capital intensive, and people are running away from that. But if we can bridge that gap, we will be able to reduce unemployment in our community, and then we'll be able to train more animators that will be able to earn very well. I mean, an average YouTube gamer earns between $2 to $24 CMPs, and you can talk about that in other countries where gamers are making a lot of millions. You mentioned earlier that the forecast for the gaming industry, the animation industry, is to 400 billion. That is very correct. Last year it was at $167 billion, and by 2030 it will be over 400 billion. So that's a lot of resources that we know that Nigerians and other African countries can tap into.
Well, speaking about resources, what would it take to bring in the much needed investments? Because, with this growing market, I imagine the creatives here in Africa and Nigeria want to put the continent on the map. What would it take?
Well, like I mentioned earlier, my project is a partnership project between Black Eye Studio and my company, Let's Network. I think collaboration will be the best route we can go about this, because the whole process of animation is very expensive. So we should encourage more collaboration. And for any investor out there, I think you identify a few studios that are doing well already, or support programs like ours that we want to train 100 people. I mean, we've done it, you've seen it, it is good. If we have partners that want to train 100 people, maybe by even being part of the facilitators or providing the equipment, which will help us get this job done. And that would be a great way to start. We can encourage a lot of collaboration going forward. And then, of course, the government can also make arrangements and resources for practitioners in this industry, especially let it be accessible to young people, because those are the people that are mostly going to find this kind of job interesting. And then also, we also want to encourage, encourage grants. They should create grants and festivals